The evenly split Senate must decide how to run its affairs. Some potential topics are how to deal with President Trump's impeachment trial and the filibuster. NTD's Christina Kim takes a closer look at what some of the priorities may be.
Senate leaders Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell must decide how to run the 50-50 split Senate. With Kamala Harris set to be the tiebreaker, the Democrats are expected to hold the majority. Previously, each party had the same number of committee seats, and the majority party held the committee chairmanships and set the schedule for the Senate agenda. Minority Leader Schumer said the Senate had 3 essential items to deal with: to impeach President Trump, confirm Biden's picks, and pass pandemic relief. Schumer wants to bar Trump from being eligible to run for office ever again and says Trump is a threat even after he leaves office.
So let me be clear. There will be an impeachment trial in the United States Senate. There will be a vote on convicting the president for high crimes and misdemeanors. And if the president is convicted, there will be a vote on barring him from running again.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell also blamed the president for inciting violence at the Capitol.
The mob was fed lies. They were provoked by the president and other powerful people.
This is despite the fact that President Trump told the crowd to walk down to the Capitol and cheer on our brave senators, and said to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Trump also repeatedly called for peace after the Capitol was breached and strongly condemned the violence. Senator Lindsey Graham urged Schumer to dismiss the articles of impeachment and to work to unify the country. Graham said an attempt to disqualify a president from future office who is no longer in office would be an unconstitutional act of political vengeance, not a righteous constitutional act to protect the nation by removal of an incumbent president. Schumer is likely to formally become majority leader after inauguration on Wednesday. McConnell and Schumer have yet to come to an agreement on how to run the Senate. Christina Kim, NTD News.
Over a year after the pandemic broke out, a team of experts from the World Health Organization are in China's Wuhan city. But Western countries have raised concerns Beijing isn't being transparent. NTD's Tiffany Meyer brings us more.
The United States is calling on China to allow World Health Organization experts to interview caregivers, former patients, and lab workers in Wuhan city. The team of experts also requests access to medical data and samples. The CCP virus is believed to have emerged in late 2019 in the city. The international team of 13 experts started a 2-week quarantine last Thursday. That's after they arrived in Wuhan. For now, they're holding teleconferences with their Chinese counterparts before starting on-the-ground work. The goal of the study is to determine the origins of the CCP or Chinese Communist Party virus. Chinese experts have already completed the first phase of research, something criticized by the U.S. American officials say China should share all scientific data of animal, human, and environmental samples taken in Wuhan. Australia also called for the WHO team to have access to relevant data, information, and key locations. The Chinese Communist regime responded to the two countries, labeling their calls as political pressure. As more CCP virus cases emerge across China, reports of people suddenly collapsing have resurfaced. The latest report comes from Hebei province. A video posted online shows a person lying on the ground, motionless, near a virus testing site in Langfang city last week. 3 first responders dressed in full body protective suits attempted to save the patient, with dozens of bystanders watching. A similar incident struck northeastern Heilongjiang province 3 weeks ago. That's when a person wearing a black coat suddenly collapsed outside a police security post. Similar cases were also reported in other provinces last spring, during one of the most serious stages of China's outbreak. Similar reports streamed in from across the country. The majority described the same odd situation, people collapsing on the street without warning. The resulting deaths were thought to be linked to the pandemic, but Chinese authorities gave no explanation in the reports, nor were there any autopsy reports from the victims published.
Despite its term coming to a close, the Trump administration continues to hold the Chinese Communist Party accountable for its human rights abuses. They say the regime has committed genocide against the Uyghur Muslim minority group.
Mike Pompeo is making the most of his remaining hours as Secretary of State. In a statement, he said, "After careful examination, I have determined that the People's Republic of China, under the direction and control of the CCP, has committed genocide against the predominantly Muslim Uyghurs and other ethnic and religious minority groups in Xinjiang." He added he thinks the genocide is still going on and that it's a systematic attempt to destroy the Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang. The move is one of the toughest measures to condemn the Chinese Communist Party. The state secretary also said the CCP committed crimes against humanity in the region, including forced labor, forced sterilization, and torture. Research from a Washington-based think tank confirmed that over 500,000 Uyghurs were forced to pick cotton. In a tweet that has since been taken down, the Chinese embassy said that they stopped Uyghur women from being quote-unquote baby-making machines. The designation follows intensive internal debates after Congress passed legislation on December 27th. The U.S. administration has 90 days to determine whether forced labor or other crimes against Uyghurs and minorities constitute crimes against humanity or genocide. Reporting by Don Tran, NTD News.
Recent remarks from the president of a Washington teachers union have led to public criticism. Despite warnings about children's mental health, he called opening schools a form of white privilege and supremacy.
Scott Wilson, president of the Pasco Association of Educators, said during a school board meeting last week that reopening schools is a sign of white supremacy. Many parents deemed Wilson's comments as offensive and politically inappropriate.
We must not ignore the culture of white supremacy and white privilege. We have seen it in the Free to Breathe, Reopen Everything rodeos and rallies that received county commissioner support.
Wilson, along with the teachers union, are pushing to classify in-person learning as unsafe and unsustainable. However, some medical professionals have argued that students should return to in-class learning as soon as possible. Wilson also commented on complaints about the children's mental health. Some concerned parents say without school or sports, their children have suicidal thoughts. Even though Wilson lost his son to suicide, he said the parents' concerns are white privilege. In recent months, mental health professionals have warned of health issues that can stem from remote learning. After the meeting and public outcry, the Pasco School District responded. They wrote, "The district does not endorse or condone any individual's viewpoint." Reporting by NTD News, Seattle, Washington.